Cheers.
Cheers, beautiful.
Tonight's the night.
Ooh.
Yeah, tonight
It is.
is the night. Tonight is the night.
Ugh.
Tonight is the night.
No,
you
I don't.
and I are gonna get in bed and we're gonna cuddle.
I don't want to.
You and I are gonna cuddle.
I don't want.
Inside the bed under the sheets.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay. I don't want to do it.
Hello, good morning.
It's a better movie.
We don't give things praise just for being better.
It's a better movie. It is. It's a better movie. Welcome to It's Too Early, the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
I'm Saige Ryan.
It's a better movie. We have a lot to talk about.
And our camera's crooked.
And our camera's crooked. Is it?
Yes. Too much room on your side.
Do you want me? I could just move in. I usually just move in a little bit more.
That would make more room on your side. Whoa.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Hi. Hello.
We were going to present today's episode in the Academy ratio of 4:3.
Mm-hmm. But we're not idiots.
Is it a good movie?
No.
No. It's
Absolutely not.
It's a better movie. It's 4 hours long.
Are we starting on this?
It's
I guess
still
we're
too
here
long.
now.
This is what the people
This is
want.
what people want. Listen.
This is what the people want.
I didn't finish the first Justice League. Didn't.
This is still the first Justice League.
No, it's not. Let's be real. I didn't finish it.
Mm-hmm.
I would not have finished this one if we didn't have to do this show.
Yeah, we're gonna do a much longer. We'll go into a full review.
We'll do a spoiler review on Patreon.
And I mean, it is better. There's still a lot of weird. There's still a lot of bad. There's still a lot of Snyder.
I'd like to provide context. I like movies.
She does.
I like most movies. I'm pretty easygoing. I'm not a harsh critic. If I can just like have fun, I will let go and have fun. I'm very good at doing that. I'm a Star Wars fan. I have to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm also big fan of superhero movies.
Yep.
Love them.
Mm-hmm.
Real into it. Was able to watch all of the CW superhero content for years.
Sure.
I have a great time. I love superhero movies.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, I come out of a superhero movie having had a great day.
Mm-hmm.
I had a bad day yesterday.
Here's what's up. The theatrical cut was disjointed, hard to follow, made no sense. Characters had zero motivation. You did not know why they were around. You could not understand anything that was going on. The villain had no purpose. There was nothing to the movie.
Sure. And now
there is a cohesive story. There is a narrative. The characters do have stories and motivations. It is a film. It has a plot. There is a story. Events happen. You can follow them.
yes.
It's a movie. Bless you.
The bar is very low.
I'll also say this. This is clearly a director who had a vision, a story that he wanted to tell in a particular way, and he got to tell it in exactly that way. You cannot argue the cohesiveness and the vision of the film. What you can argue now,
Is that the cohesive vision is bad?
correct.
Yeah, sure. Now it has a story, but the story is bad and stupid.
There's a lot. There's a lot. What I can say is, and this is unfortunate, people were right to say that Zack Snyder had an idea and a vision and a cohesive story for the DC movies. It is obvious now that there was a lot of studio meddling. There was a lot of people are going to try to pin this on Joss Whedon. remember that everything Joss Whedon did as a director of a $250 million movie goes through the studio. The studio on a $250 million movie, basically, you bring up your ideas, and if they jive with what the studio wants,
Right.
they'll let you do them.
And we will say, we don't defend Joss Whedon on this show.
No, there are a lot of reasons to dislike Joss Whedon.
But this just isn't it.
He is a creep, but
Yes.
he brought up ideas, and Jeff Johns and the rest of Warner Brothers said, great ideas, these are exactly what we want. They also probably gave him a lot of those ideas.
Yeah. He came into the project late.
I will say, also, a lot of things in the theatrical cut that were my favorite things that were clearly added by Joss Whedon would have been the worst things in this movie. They did not fit.
Sure.
Joss Whedon basically cut and reshot a lot of Zack Snyder's movie and did not understand what Zack Snyder was doing, did not agree with it, and decided, I'm going to see how much I can change this into my movie. And the studio was like, we're going to see how much we can change this into our movie in the 6 weeks we have. And it made a completely disjointed mess of a film.
Which, if I had looked at the Snyder version of the script, I too would have said, oh my God, how much can I change this? Please, is it too late? So, fair. Zack Snyder's idea of an edgy superhero movie is a bunch of people with their arms crossed having a pissing contest of who is the toughest and least emotional man, when really each one of them is just suffering with their own form of parental issues and giving a little more cleavage to Wonder Woman, but no actual plot.
Dude, it's wild because the first time we saw Wonder Woman was Batman versus Superman. It's so wild to see Wonder Woman under Joss Whedon or under Zack Snyder's direction again. It's really fascinating because she dresses differently.
Yep.
She acts different. She acts differently. She is treated differently by the characters around her.
Every single one of them has to take their turn hitting on Wonder Woman. And if you have ever been a woman working in an entirely male environment, why would I want that in my superhero movie? And why the fuck, if I had Wonder Woman's powers, would I put up with that? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I've punched a man for a lot less.
She's 5,000 years old. Why would she put? Yeah, it's weird. Somebody in the chat, Barry Allen is creepy. We'll get into that. Somebody in the chat is talking about Giggle Loop is mentioning the Superman stuff. One of my biggest problems with Snyder, with Snacky Zacky, has been what I feel to be a fundamental misunderstanding of Superman. I will say Superman in this film felt the most Superman he's felt in any of these films. There was a lot of fixing of Superman. There was also a lot of weird, creepy stuff around Superman that didn't need to be there. It's a better film. That doesn't make it a great film, but it does make it much better than what we have gotten previously from Warner Brothers in this current DCEU.
Sure.
In my opinion, that's kind of a low bar.
Yes.
You know,
It's
I think
very low.
I think the best stuff in the current DCEU are Shazam, Birds of Prey, and Wonder Woman. And if I was to put them in order, it would probably be Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman, Shazam.
Yep. We are big Birds of Prey fans in this house.
Bop is a name and a promise. You know what I mean? That's what we're saying here. So, but my other thing is, well, he got an extra $40 million and he got to make his movie 4 hours long. Like, of course it's cohesive.
Every scene was too long.
It still could have been shorter. Tonally, it was still 3/4 of it were still edgelord. You know,
So much edgelord. Oh, we'll get into all of the details on Patreon.
You could cut yourself on Cyborg, and not because he's made of metal. You know what I mean?
I wanted Cyborg to have a story. I'm glad that we have a story for Cyborg. I'm very thrilled that, especially if you're going to put a black hero, you can't just throw them in and give them no sort of backstory when the rest of these heroes have had 18 movies each.
And they do give Cyborg. Cyborg is, I was hoping that Cyborg was going to be a little bit, either Cyborg or Barry would be kind of the audience surrogates in this film.
But they didn't give us any. There was no relief to the constant fucking drama fest of these men.
Yeah.
They were exhausting.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, do you never grow out of your daddy issues? You're 45 years old. Get over it.
There was a lot of pointing out everyone's bad dad.
Right?
And I'm like, yeah, some of you, like Aquaman, you're 45. Bruce Wayne, you're 50-something at this point in these films. Like, you gotta, I mean, and listen, my thing about Batman has always been, hey, go to therapy and donate your money to infrastructure. You're the richest man in the world. Stop dressing like a bat and punching people, dude. Like, but this movie very much wants to let you know, bad dad, bad dad, bad dad, bad dad.
See, and that's the thing. Flash does still have a good dad, and yet they didn't give us any of that sweet good dad joy. Zaki refused to let us have it. We couldn't have one moment of sweet good dad because he was in the prison being a little bitch.
We got one moment of it, but it was
Dad
a bad
was being
moment.
Good dad. Dad was trying.
Yeah.
But for some reason, this version of the Flash is this sassy, over-the-top, awkward, talks like a TikTok teen Flash. And I'm like, look, if you're looking for a good example of aging down a hero, look at Spider-Man. They've done an excellent job of giving you a teen relatable character that isn't fucking agonizing to watch. I know people love Ezra Miller. I know. I get it. I see it. But he is not the Flash in any capacity to me.
He was very, very caustic and very, very awkward. And everything he said was snark.
Yeah.
And like even the lines that were written to be kind of sweeter Barry lines were delivered in a very snarky way. Now he did get more of a story, just like Cyborg got more of a story.
And his backstory sucked.
Yeah, it was really interesting. You can see why though all the actors were like, give us the Snyder cut, give us the Snyder cut. And
they did more work on it.
It's because they did more work and they were characters in it. So much of what they did, so much of what they tried to bring to these characters was pulled out. And you know, in my opinion, it was pulled out because they saw that this was continuing this incorrect tone for these these DC heroes that are the Justice League are supposed to be these like paragons of hope and virtue and joy.
Right.
And so I can see looking at it and being like, this is wrong. But like, if you feel like you don't have enough to work with to make a film the tone that you want, then you have to go with the tone that was there. And Warner Brothers just didn't want to do that. And so what I think is interesting is, we'll get more into this in the Patreon, you did not watch all of the original cut.
No, I didn't.
Which is smart. People who watch the original cut are definitely praising the Snyder cut a lot, and there is reason for that because it's comparative.
Sure, and I don't think that that's fair, though. I don't think that it is fair to praise and give good reviews to this movie just because the bar is on the floor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the difference of, like, interacting with somebody at the bar and being like, well, he did call me a bitch, but he didn't put anything in my drink, so I guess I'm having a good night. Like, no. Absolutely not.
I will, you know. Yeah, there's a lot of Snyder. There's a lot that's going on. We'll talk more about it in the Patreon for sure.
A couple of things. Nadia Bean, I agree. I think the Flash is a wonderful character and a
Flash
wonderful
is one of my
hero.
favorite characters.
We both love the Flash. So this was super disappointing. Somebody else, Giggle Loop, said the beginning scene of his backstory. I don't want to get too into spoilers, but yes, that was horrific.
It was creepy.
That was absolutely awful and creepy. And I would like to say one more thing if I can on the show.
Sure.
I tweeted out today, or last night, did any non-men like the Snyder Cut? Because I've noticed that all of the reviews and opinions I am seeing are cis white men that are praising this movie. So I'm genuinely trying to field the opinion of non-men, women, non-binary, gender spectrum. And yet, all of my mentions are absolutely flooded with people going, well, I'm a man, but here is my opinion anyways. Don't do that to women on the internet, to people on the internet.
That's sort of the tone of the movie.
Right. Like, you're proving my exact point is that I can't see the opinions of non-men because they are drowned out by cis white men. So if a woman says, hey, I'm trying to gather the opinion and see if other people are relating to the uncomfortable feelings that it gave me in my experience as a non-man, just understand that sometimes your opinion is in other places and it is heard and you don't have to respond. It's not for you. That is it.
So there you go.
Had to put that out there.
We're gonna talk more about it during the Patreon. So if you do not support the Patreon, now is a great time to join, because I have a feeling we'll go long. We're gonna go long, and we're gonna go hard in the paint on this.
And it's only $5 a month if you want to get It's Too Early bonus clips every single week.
Big day for Square Enix yesterday.
Ah, yes.
Jumping into the rest of the news, Square Enix had a big showcase yesterday. Here's everything that they announced. First of all, we got a new Life is Strange coming, True Colors.
Now, everybody's been teasing this Life is Strange. I have a couple of lovely friends that are voice actors that work on Life is Strange, and everybody's been going, we're going to have a Life is Strange. And I'm excited about this. I need to finish Life is Strange.
One of my favorite things about this is that this is not going to be episodic. This Life is Strange comes out all as one game. You can play it all from beginning to end. There's no waiting for the different episodes, which I understand why Life is Strange was episodic before, and they leaned into it when they were telling the story. They did clever things with the episodic nature of it. But, I would rather just sit down and play a game if it's time to play a game. I don't think you need to be episodic. That makes sense for, somebody like a cardboard computer who's making Kentucky Route Zero.
Yeah.
And, you're doing it on your own.
Great. Yeah, that's the thing.
Five different episodes, so you have time to release it.
Right. A smaller company that doesn't have the budget and resources to put the game out all at once, but wants to give you something to get interested.
But, hey, Square Enix, you got all the money in the world.
You sure do. And all of the support, knowing that people will play a full Life is Strange game because people fucking love it.
We also are getting Life is Strange remasters. They're going to be remastered for next-gen consoles. So we're going to get the regular game and the original game and Before the Storm in an Ultimate Edition. Also very big, Project Athia finally has a name.
Forspoken.
I
love it.
Forspoken.
I actually really like it. I think that's a good title. That stands out to me. I'm into it.
It looks amazing, as it has from Go. It's going to be a PlayStation 5 console exclusive when it comes out next year, and it will also be coming to the PC. It's very exciting.
That looks lovely.
It looks really great.
It looks like an absolutely beautiful game. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
And that behind-the-scenes interview is really, really nice as well. Hey, it's age restricted.
Ooh, baby.
Anthony, you're going to have to prove that you're a big boy. Can you do it?
Well, I hate my dad. Does that count? Is that how you prove you're a man?
I believe that's what we've learned.
Zack Snyder's Justice League tells me that as long as I hate my dad, I can be a man.
I, too, can be a man.
This is Outriders. This is People Can Fly's third-person loot shooter. It looks great. I don't know about another loot shooter.
Yeah, I'm not in particular need of it right now, but it's also not my genre, so I just also understand that it isn't made for me.
Yeah, I guess, if you're looking for something new to replace your destinies, if you're bored of the Destiny, if you're bored of the
Apex,
if you're
even though it's not the
done with Anthem,
yeah,
you're missing Anthem, there you go. That's for you. Balan Wonderworld.
Now Anthony has particular insight into Balan Wonderworld. Anthony was so excited when Balan Wonderworld got announced.
Yuji Naka, Naoto Oshima are, I would say, extremely instrumental for my entire career in games. I saw Nights into Dreams in a store window, rode up to my local game store to rent a game for the weekend on my bicycle, and saw Nights into Dreams in the window and said, I have to have that. And from there, it just exploded. Everything in my life became about games.
That's very sweet.
So when they came back, I was like, ooh, baby, here it comes. a new Yuji Naka Naoto Oshima game. It's wild, it's wacky, it's a musical. That demo was one of the worst things I've ever played in my life.
He tried to stream it.
I tried to stream it on a particularly bad day. I was like, let's get that serotonin. Oof. So they had a lot of work to do, and I don't know that they would put the money, the time, and the effort in to do the work that Balan Wonderworld needed to fix it.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be one to pick up.
It's a bummer because I was into it. I was actually very intrigued by Balan Wonderworld. I had never played it. I never got to play the original. So when you showed me the trailer for it, I was like, oh, yeah, this 100% would be my shit. This looks excellent.
Well, there was no original. This is like a new thing for them. But it's not new in any way. It's an old, boring, dusty game, dusty platformer. And then, so they make a big deal of how the whole game's a musical, Saige.
Yes.
And like all the characters dance to do things.
Right.
Number one, the characters just sort of dance in the distance when you walk up to them, but it has no bearing on the game whatsoever.
Oh, no.
And then number two, all the musical numbers are in a made-up language, which is a total cop-out.
Fascinating. So they didn't have to write any real lyrics.
They wrote no real lyrics.
Interesting.
It's in a magical play language, and it's just like, what made you think that was?
That's very unfortunate. That is really disappointing. Hey, play Ooblets instead.
Hey, why not play Ooblets?
That's a good dance battle game.
Avengers, Marvel's Avengers.
That's a game.
We're getting an expansion for Black Panther finally. Black Panther does appear in story missions, the same as Hawkeye appeared in story missions. And there's been a lot of speculation that Black Panther and Hawkeye were supposed to be in from the beginning, but they were cut to be added later as DLC to add perceived value to the game.
I do wish they had started with Black Panther. I do wish the game. I feel like Black Panther maybe should have been included from the beginning. I'll never say that about Hawkeye, even though yes, should have been.
Yeah, and I mean, an important thing to remember is the main part of the Hawkeye DLC is Kate Bishop.
Right.
So that's cool. We like that.
Yes, we do like Kate Bishop.
So the Black Panther DLC is coming, the War for Wakanda expansion. There's also next-gen updates for the game, so they are running improved frame rates and graphical modes. I watched some of it on Digital Foundry yesterday, and it does look better, but we're really getting to the point. The biggest thing is the load time changes.
Yeah.
I think Avengers on consoles had some really unacceptable load times. We're talking about 1.5 minutes from title screen to in-game.
And on current gen, that's wild.
That's wild. I mean, and it did come out for PS4 and PS4 Pro, but the fact that you had to wait through that on the PS5 as well. Now we're talking about pretty standard PS5 load time. So we're talking from menu to title is about 2 seconds. From title to gameplay is about 4 seconds.
Yeah, that's big. That's a big
huge.
change.
That's huge, and I think that's going to do. I think that's going to do a lot. You cannot underestimate how much fixing load times that way changes the perceived fun of a game.
And I hope that the game does have a revival. I was actually initially very excited for this Avengers game. And I am hoping that the next batch of things that comes out are, hey, it's a good game now. I am 1000% open to it being a good game at some point with some updates.
I mean, that's the biggest thing is the core system and the core idea of the Avengers game being this over and over grind fest is such a capitulation to games as a service, and this sort of longevity can only be achieved through revenue.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, we
that sort of
talked
thing.
recently about them like slowing down the XP grind. They're making some good moves and they're making some bad moves, but like my favorite game of this last year has been Sea of Thieves, which I know launched as a very bad game. So I'm always like, but maybe they'll fix it. But maybe he'll change, Anthony.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Be cool if he did.
The Hawkeye Future Imperfect DLC also dropped yesterday. That's your Clint DLC to go with your Kate DLC. It is also Tomb Raider's 25th anniversary. We knew the definitive Survivor trilogy was coming because of the leak on the Xbox Game Store.
Yeah, we talked about that a couple weeks ago.
But now we definitely know it's coming. And if you get it now, it's $19.99 for the first 2 weeks.
That's very good, and we speculated around the price, and we were trying to figure out what it is. After these 2 weeks, it will go up to $49.99, which is a lot, but also you're like, okay, it's 3 games. If they had just released it at $49.99, I think a lot of people probably would have been like, yeah, it's a 3-game price.
It's a decent enough value, but it is what you would consider, like you're saying, like if it's 3 classic games. Yeah, I would expect them to slap a $50 price tag on it.
But hey, get it while it's $20.
Yeah.
If you're gonna get it while it's $20. I know that I will be.
They don't have anything new to announce in terms of games. There are some 25th anniversary crossovers coming. You know, Lara is in Fortnite. Lara's coming to a couple other games, so that's fun. But the biggest thing is they mentioned more about they keep calling it an anime. Stop doing that. The animated series coming to Netflix to unify all the stories of all the games, which I still think is a wild undertaking, and good luck.
Yep.
I don't know that the new games should lead into the old games.
Yeah, there's a big divide between those, story-wise and tone-wise. But we'll see.
We'll see. Just Cause is coming to mobile. That looks very fun.
Yes. I don't play a lot of mobile games. Again, we talked about this, on Wednesday? We don't go anywhere. We're not playing any mobile games right now.
Yeah.
I am in the space where my consoles or computer are at all times. So mobile isn't something that I get super hyped about. I also have never played a Just Cause game.
Oh, they're fun.
Yeah.
They're fun.
It's
you can grapple to anything, and then you can grapple anything to anything else, and it's wild to like grapple a plane to a tank, and like then also like grapple yourself to like a moving car and like zip into it. It's very fun.
Yeah, that's not the genre I generally go for. I can see how that would be fun. It's a game that I would like to play around in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you can attach a jetpack to anything, and then anything has a jetpack.
I mean, that's fun. I do think that sounds
Put it
very
on a
fun.
person. Put it on a car.
I've been playing so much VR. I found VR worlds where you can just grapple and swing around like Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah. Which one? Are you just in VR chat, or are you playing a couple
VR
games?
chat,
Yeah.
and it was a world in VR chat where if you put your hands behind your back, each one comes out with a grappling hook gun, and you can just... And it is very fun.
Oh, you got to try Jupiter Grad or a story about my uncle. Those are both good grapply swingy VR games that
A good old grapple.
So much fun. And then
I'm very intrigued by this.
yeah.
Yeah. Space Invaders and AR. I don't know, man. Why not?
Yeah.
Like, literally, why not? No music, please and thank you. I mean, Space Invaders is obviously iconic and a classic when it comes to gaming, and they gave us very little in this trailer. They gave us mostly, like, remember Space Invaders?
Yeah, I remember Space Invaders.
Yeah.
It's kind of boring at this point, my dudes. But they
What's
do
that party?
They do some wild things with Space Invaders, and they've done some wild things over the last couple years, like with Groove Coaster and things like that. And
What was that party with Space Invaders on the screen and everyone jumping and dancing?
oh, it's your standard Space Invader party that everybody goes to.
The Space Invaders Music Festival?
Yeah.
I didn't get the memo, I guess. We know almost nothing about it, but they're putting some kind of AR, augmented reality, on your phone for Space Invaders to play Space Invaders out in the world. And that does sound like something I would like to do
Yeah.
if I was going to be out in the world. Again, same thing. I'm not going anywhere, but I'm intrigued.
I'm intrigued.
I'm intrigued.
I'm intrigued.
I'm a tree.
I'm a tree.
It's me. I'm a tree.
I'm a tree. Water me. Give me sunshine.
I'm sorry, that devolved quickly.
Hey, this is fucking wild to me.
This is not maybe so good wild.
And what's not so good is that I have an ad blocker up whenever I go to IGN, and I'm very sorry, IGN.
Sorry, IGN.
Sorry, IGN. This is Destin, I love you. Not right now. Destin, I love you to death, buddy. Not right now. PlayStation bought EVO. PlayStation
Just bought EVO.
bought EVO. The biggest fighting game tournament in the world.
Yeah.
PlayStation bought it. They own it now.
That's concerning. I don't like the idea of, places that are competitive gatherings for esports being owned by a company like Sony. There is implicit bias there. There has to be. There has to be bias in that of skewing what the lineup is for the game, skewing who the players are. I just can't imagine what Sony would have to gain if they didn't skew it in their favor, right? Like why even own it then?
Yeah, and PlayStation recently, if you follow them on YouTube, they've been doing a lot of like tournament and fighting game stuff. You can tell that they're trying to make themselves a place that people think of. Like they've been doing the Mortal Kombat World tournaments and the North American tournaments. They've been doing a bunch of other like one-shot and mini tournaments for fighting games. So it's not surprising because they've been after the space. It's just surprising that it happened, that it was allowed to happen. So EVO and RTS, which is an esports venture from Endeavor, we've talked about Endeavor before, they co-purchased EVO, which means EVO events are PlayStation events in partnership with RTS. The EVO co-founders are going to be staying on as key advisors. But what's interesting is not only is this something that like, oh, well, this is going to be skewed towards PlayStation. They put out a big message about
All
how
platforms
it's not.
are still included.
No,
It's
everything's
not going to be a PlayStation thing for a couple years.
But the biggest thing to me is how other platforms are already responding to the fact that this is a PlayStation
Yeah, they had a
event.
statement in here from Nintendo regarding Sony's acquisition of EVO that says Nintendo has enjoyed engaging with fans at past EVO tournaments and wish the show organizers the best with their new venture. We will continue to assess EVO and other opportunities as we plan for future online and offline Smash Bros. Tournament activity. That very much sounds like, yeah, we had fun. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Been fun.
Did you enjoy Smash at EVO? We kind of wanted to take it away from you anyway, and now we have the perfect excuse to do so.
Yeah, I think there's a big possibility that Nintendo pulls Smash out of EVO.
What we're also going to see, I think, is now that PlayStation owns EVO, you're going to see the other platform holders scramble to do this on their own as well. Now, Nintendo tried to make their own esports event for and league for Splatoon a few years ago.
Yes.
Bless their hearts. Bless their hearts. They really tried. But I can't imagine a world where Nintendo sees this and doesn't go, great, well, we'll just run the big Smash Bros. Tournament now.
Right.
And you'll play the version of Smash Bros. We want you to play.
Kind of Steven in the live studio audience said they said it won't affect the console and games that'll be in EVO. They said,
hey,
hey, you would tell us if you were buying it for selfish gain to further your platform and your space in the community and you didn't actually have the best in mind for players, right?
Sony, you bought this as charity love for us, right?
You'd tell us, right?
You'd tell us if you thought that this was a giant branding exercise,
if
right?
you're buying this for personal gain, you have to tell us. They lie, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'd be shocked if you didn't see kind of Steven, you sweet summer child, and we love you to death, but it's wild if you think that at EVO now, if there's a fighting game that's on multiple platforms, it's not going to be played on big visible PlayStations.
I think the main thing is, and this is something we talk about on the show a lot, don't believe corporations.
Yeah.
That's it. do not trust the word of a large corporation. They are not your friend.
Yeah,
Sony's not your friend. PlayStation is not your friend. Nintendo is not your friend. Trust me, I want Nintendo to be my friend like so bad.
Yeah.
Ooh, I want Nintendo to be my friend so bad. Nintendo is not my friend. They are a massive corporation that does not operate with my best interest.
Why would Sony allow on an infinite timeline, if they are the owners of this platform, why would they allow, if there's a big fighting game that becomes super popular on Xbox, why would they allow that to be the main event at EVO? They might for the first couple years.
That's what I said. Is for a couple years, I think we'll be fine.
They
I think
might
we'll get 2 years maybe.
This is the way that all corporations work when they take over something, when they buy something out, when they acquire something. For the first 2 years, it's like, just run it the way you've always run it. We love what you do.
We love what you do. That's why why we got involved.
Bought it because we love it, and we just love you, and we love everybody here, and it's great.
Yeah.
And then you start getting calls that are like, "Hey, buddy,
I noticed.
you know, we thought about it, and you know, this game seems like it's on PlayStation as well. Could we just put it on the PlayStation?"
It's the same thing, right? I mean, it's still a game.
So, by the way, hey, buddy, we love the way you're running everything. We're gonna send one of our guys down there, just to help out.
We just have these resources, and we just want to support you.
Yeah, we just want to support you and what you do and make sure that you do. And listen, this guy, so smart. You're going to love this guy. He has so much great input. He's been in the industry for years. We trust this guy implicitly. You're going to love him. Come on.
Look, I want to trust what gaming companies tell me. I love games.
Come on.
We love games. We love games. We want to trust what we are told by the people who make the games that we love, but we shouldn't.
Come on.
Because they're billionaires.
I think at the level, at the level of teams that are making games, they're just teams that want to make games.
Yep, absolutely. Devs, we stand independent devs in particular.
We love developers. Platform holders, we look at and we go, what's your game? What's your strat?
Right.
What's your strat here? So it'll be interesting to see what happens to EVO over the next couple years. In other big PlayStation news.
Ooh, those PSVR controllers. Interesting. How strange. I'm not sure how I feel about them yet.
I think they look great. They look like VR controllers.
I'm confused by the thing that goes all the way around the hand, just in how it helps you.
Have you ever been in VR and accidentally whacked your hand against something?
I guess. Yeah, I guess that's like a little protective shell.
Yeah.
Okay. Little bumpers.
Little bumpers.
They gave you bumpers.
I think that's what it is mostly.
They look like little fighting mitts, and I do I like it. I think they're very funny, but they're making me giggle a little bit.
I think they look great. They're based heavily on the Knuckles controller design that everything is these days. It's going to have touch sensitive surfaces as well as buttons, just like the Oculus and Vive controllers have now. So you don't have to fully push a button to gesture.
Yeah.
They look good. And finally, we're going to be able to ditch those move wands.
Yeah, those are bad.
Listen, if you've got a PSVR, now's the time to sell it on eBay. If you can get through the next 6 months without your PSVR,
which you probably can,
now is the time to sell. But they just released a bunch of new stuff on VR, and they've got a bunch of new stuff coming. Like they really want you to hold on to your first gen VR while they ready this one. This is the one. This is the time. This is where the resale value is highest for your PSVR. For your PSVR.
PSVR, not so good.
PSVR 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Great.
Features of these controllers, they're going to have a lot of the DualSense controller features built right into them, which is great. Maybe not for the longevity of the controllers, as we know.
But PlayStation has been making some smooth-ass controllers.
So they have adaptive triggers, which means the triggers can give you the force feedback. They have the haptic feedback. They have the finger touch detection. And they have, the basket hilt sort of protective ring is also a tracking ring for the headset.
That's interesting.
So it can track everything a little better.
It's very interesting.
Then it has the standard action buttons and analog sticks that you would expect from PlayStation layout. I think this looks great. I think this looks great. And it's good to see that this is coming and PlayStation has taken that full leap into current gen VR hardware.
Yes.
I would still expect. You can get a Quest
Yes.
for $199 right
yes. Love my Quest.
now. The Quest is great.
I thought they started at $299.
It's $290. Is it $299, $399, or is it $199, $299?
I thought it was 2 and 3. I don't know.
Oh, you can get the original Quest for $199.
Yeah. The Quest 2
2
starts at $299 and goes up to $399.
That's what it is.
Yep.
So, $299 to get what is, I think, not just the best value in VR, but I think the best experience in VR right now.
Yeah. I love my Quest 2.
Especially now that they've allowed wireless VR.
Yeah.
It's good.
Oh, it's good.
It's good, but the tethered is even better. And
yeah, I finally did link in. I have the link cable, and I finally did plug into my PC and start playing that way. And I was like, ooh, a whole new world.
yeah, it looks phenomenal for $299. Now, do we think PlayStation is going to try to meet or beat that price? Or do we think PlayStation is going to try to show the value of PlayStation VR and try to get you on the upper end of that, maybe around like a $349?
I was going to say $349 specifically.
That's what I'm thinking.
Wow. Yeah, I'm thinking $349.
I think a $349. The trick is with the Quest, what you're paying for the fact that the Quest has all the hardware inside it. You can hook it up to your PC, but that's optional.
You absolutely don't have to. You can buy games right there in the store. It's great. It's a great experience without a PC.
But with PSVR, your PlayStation is doing all the heavy lifting.
Right.
So you would hope that they would try to use that to push the price point down. Now, somebody mentioned in chat that eventually the PSVR Deluxe Edition went down to like $179 new. Didn't launch at that. Launched around $300. I would love to see them come out of the gate swinging with a $200 VR.
That'd be great. A
They would-
$199. Yeah.
They would destroy everyone if they came out at $199, but I don't think they'll do it.
Moo in the live studio audience says, was that a puppy?
Oh, yes.
There's a dog back there.
That's Dagger. That's my perfect prince.
He's always in the room.
He goes wherever I go.
Know that he is always here for the show, but
No.
you don't get to see him.
Know that when there was, 2 sets of paw prints in the sand,
They were all daggers.
they were all daggers. And he's too small to carry you.
But he's doing his best to support you anyways.
Yes.
Anyways, PSVR could potentially be very good. I also think that keeping the VR market competitive right now is very important.
Oh, yeah.
I think that that's a good step in doing so. If PlayStation does something great, then what do we see the push for the Quest 3? You know, we know the Quest 3 is happening. We know it's coming. So I'm intrigued. I'm excited to see what's next. Also, something to be excited about is that new Among Us map is finally coming. I feel like we talked about it forever ago. They did the map reveal many, many moons ago. We talked about it on the show, and it is finally releasing on March 31st. This is big news for Among Us people. It is. Hey, thanks. I don't actively play much Among Us anymore. I didn't actively play a ton when Among Us blew up in the first place.
Yeah.
Social deduction, yell at your friends games make me very anxious.
It's fun every once in a while, but it requires a group of people that are not taking it very seriously. And unfortunately, those groups of people don't exist.
You would be surprised how hard it is to find people who don't want to yell at their friends about it. I would like to play Among Us in the way that my friends play Secret Hitler, the way that they played, Mafia.
Oh, but have you ever been in a room with people that play Mafia or Secret Hitler too seriously? It really feels like the Nuremberg trials.
It's bad.
Why would I want a Nuremberg trial simulator?
Yeah, no.
No,
I'm very chill in these games, and if I can find other people that are willing to be chill with me, and I'll have a good time and know that nobody's actually getting killed, then I'm happy. But hey, a bunch of new tasks to learn, a bunch of new map to learn. I never successfully learned the others, and I still say, no, I'm at the button with the pew pew. And then everybody thinks that I'm lying because I just don't know the names of the tasks. What room were you in? I don't know, the bottom left one.
I was in the bottom. I was in the bottom one where you do the clicky bits, and they're like, "Oh, okay, you're the killer." And it's like, no, I guess I'll just sit in the silent room in the Discord for 20 minutes.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Harry, I also don't get pro strat Among Us play. I don't get it. I think that it was built to be silly nonsense with your friends. So the big strategies, I very much lose me. And yes, I enjoyed very much playing with Smosh, no doubt. They're wonderful, talented people that are very, very fun to hang out and do anything with. But I swear to God, if somebody yells at me, I will cry.
The dev team mentions that this did take a long time, and they're like, why did this take a long time?
Yeah.
And their response was, we did not think this game was going to get as popular as it did.
Right.
It took us by surprise. 2020 totally just knocked us out, just knocked the wind out of us.
Yeah.
We had already considered the game done and had moved on to starting a new project.
Well, originally they had said that, right when Among Us caught back on, they had said that they were making a second game. They were making Among Us 2, is in the works.
Yeah.
And then at the peak of Among Us's popularity, they were like, we're not going to make a second game right now. We're just going to work on improving this game.
Yeah.
They shelved that project. So that makes perfect sense. It was late 2020. Everyone was already having a 2020.
Yep.
And they were like, oh shit, people are playing the game now? And then it became the fucking number one game in the world.
Yep. And they said not only did that take them by surprise, but even if it hadn't and they were working on updates, they're a smallish team. Mm-hmm. Everything is cross-platform, so they need to test and deliver everything across every single platform. And they mentioned hey, you might have noticed that just about every Among Us mod that people makes is for PCs, and there's a reason for that. And it's because supporting all these other platforms or doing things for all these other platforms is tough. Mm-hmm. So it took a long time for them to get their code up to speed, to hire new people. They were a team of 5 people when this happened.
Yeah.
Can you imagine you're a team of 5 people, and then all of a sudden it's
You're
like,
the
oh, you're the
number one game on
biggest game in
Twitch.
the world.
Yeah.
You better release some new content because you're the biggest game in the world. And then to bring everything to multiple platforms, they had to go to all these meetings with platforms they had never spoken to before.
Right. When they're putting it on mobile, that's such a different process.
Think about consoles. To come to consoles, there's an entire QA and approvals process.
Yeah.
Not to mention the actual development deals themselves. So it makes sense that it took a long time. We're very, very excited for Inner Sloth. I have a couple friends that work over there, and this is great news for all of them. And
We do stand indie devs. We do.
I just don't want to be yelled at, and I don't want to yell at anybody else.
I don't want to be yelled at either.
I just don't.
I say this all the time. It's not a good idea to play Among Us with me if you're going to be mean, because I'm going to cry and then you're going to look like a jerk and I'm going to feel like an idiot. No one's going to walk away having had a good time if I cry live on the internet over Among Us. But I do not do well with being yelled at.
No yelling.
Just don't yell at me. Please.
No yelling. No finger pointing. No serious accusations.
Please.
People forget that they're friends when they play Among Us.
They do. They forget that nobody's actually dead.
They forget. We're not actually in space.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. Speaking of indie developers, Microsoft and Twitch are teaming up to host an indie showcase featuring over 25 games next week. ID at Xbox. ID at Xbox normally happens at E3. It happens at GDC.
Right.
They have
all those things we're not having this year.
Yeah. So this is now going to be on Twitch, and you've got a bunch of great developers: Drinkbox Studios, Curve Digital, Devolver, Dear Villagers. This is huge.
Yeah, this is huge. It's huge for the platform. It's huge for the indie devs. I'm intrigued to see if this actually has any kind of impact by doing it natively on Twitch. If it has any kind of impact on how likely your game is to be streamed. I'm very intrigued to see that because there isn't enough data on that right now to know if, we've had these developers that are now going like, well, what if we did deliver it straight to streamers? What if we really did market to streamers to promote our game? Because, again, you look at Among Us. Among Us would not have had the revival if it wasn't for streamers and content creators. That's what happened. That's what happened. It's what's happening to Rust, Among Us, Fall Guys. All of these things completely hit because of the content creators.
Yeah, and normally these events, the ID at Xbox and things like that, are covered through traditional gaming press, which usually means they're written up on blogs. You get YouTube videos, you get native videos in on sites like IGN and Polygon and things like that. But that's not necessarily catering to the streaming audience. That's more of a traditional audience. So it will be interesting to see if everybody's watching and co-streaming this event on Twitch, and somebody goes that looks like my shit.
Yep.
You wonder what that does to the target audience and what that does to the number of people that pick it up. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by that. And I think it's a good move. I hope that there's more of this. I do. I think that for a long time there's been a battle between, it started with a battle between devs of you can't stream our games. You didn't used to be able to stream any Nintendo games, for instance. And I hope that more and more studios are seeing the value and the asset of content creators.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
I must go, my people need me.
The original idea or theory from a lot of traditional publishers was, if people stream this game, and it's the same way they felt about Let's Plays, if people stream this game or do Let's Plays of this game, then we'll sell less because people will just watch other people play it and not play it themselves. When in reality, what we're seeing is the opposite. I saw this game on a stream.
Now I want to play
Now
it.
I want to play
that
it
all the time.
I saw this on a Let's Play. Now I want to play it.
Right. I mean, look, we are a professional news show. So of course
We're journalists.
we know when a game is coming out. But
I always know when a game is coming out.
But
name a game, I'll tell you when it's coming out.
Balan Wonderworld.
Who cares? Terrible game.
Fair. The Tomb Raider collection.
It's out right now for $19.99. In 2 weeks, it'll be $49.99.
See, professional journalism.
I'm a journalist.
But
Halo Infinite.
tricky.
Tricky. Hey,
tricky move.
Hey, 343.
Did you make the game?
If you're not making the game, just say so.
It's okay. You can tell us.
It's okay. You could tell us if there's not going to be a game. It's all right. No one's going to be mad. Just tell us the truth. We might be disappointed, but we won't be mad.
We'll respect you telling us.
Are you making the game? This is just a weird story that I found that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
This is not really. Every once in a while, we put a story. One of us puts a story, and it's listen,
this isn't news.
This isn't news. This is just for me. Just let me have this.
And you can have this.
Just let me have this. The Neo Geo Hyper 64 was supposed to be the second Neo Geo console.
Yes.
It was 3D. It came out in arcades, on arcade machines, particularly in Japan, but the home console never really materialized. Somebody found a Neo Geo 64 dev kit in a field in Japan, untouched, underneath a tree.
What happened here?
In perfect shape.
What is the story? I want to know.
I picture a sun-dappled glade.
Uh-huh.
Somebody is walking through the countryside.
Yeah.
Eating an onigiri.
Of course.
Just chilling.
Yeah.
And then they look and just a slight sparkle underneath a fallen tree where it's been safe from the elements for 24 years. They find an untouched development kit for the Neo Geo Hyper 64 with a prototype of Samurai Showdown 64 on it.
I want a Pixar short about this.
Yes.
I want a Pixar short of an old man going and sitting under the tree with his dev kit. You know what I mean? It's just someone who really believed in this console and never got it to be what it was, and he sat down for a picnic, right? And then he packs up his picnic to leave, and he leaves without his little development kit. And maybe it's about a young girl that finds the dev kit, getting to play with it, and then going, no, this is not mine, and having to take it back and find the old man, and they get to play it together.
Oh, that's a beautiful story. I love that story. I want to see that story.
Please give us a Pixar short of this.
It's so fascinating to me. And a note to this is, oddly, this is not the first rare game found in a random field this year.
This year.
Back in February, somebody found an incredibly rare Sega arcade game, the entire machine just hanging in a field. This was one of their this is G-Lock Air Battle. This is one of their machines where you would sit in it and it had dual controllers and it actually moved like a full pod. It was just in a field in the Japanese countryside. When you play a Pokemon game and you come across a vending machine in the middle of the forest, don't laugh. It's real.
It's real. That's what Japan is like. I want that to be the thing that like a bunch of kids get to build a fort around.
Oh my God, and they're all wearing little helmets they made for themselves.
Yeah.
And every day they go to the spaceship and they tell their parents every day, they're like, oh, Mom, I'm going to the spaceship to play today. Okay. And then they go out.
Spaceship. And they go to a fucking spaceship.
They go out to the fucking spaceship. They're playing G-Lock Air Battle.
Uh-huh.
That's fucking wild to me.
Yeah, right? Look, we got a lot of cute ideas this morning.
Let me in, Japan.
Japan, please.
Just let me in.
Oh, Japan, please. I would like to. I am almost vaccinated fully.
I'm half-cinated.
I am also half-cinated. I will be fully vaccinated on the 27th, 2 weeks after. May I come in?
May Japan.
Knocking. Hello.
A polite knock, please. A polite knock. A removal of my shoes.
May I come in, please?
Allow me inside, please.
It's too early from Japan.
Please.
Hear me out.
We go to random fields to look for dev kits.
Yes.
That's an entire episode of It's Too Early,
Yes.
Japan.
Just wandering in Japanese fields. I love this idea.
I honestly, the first time I came across a random vending machine in the woods in Japan, I burst out laughing. I just burst out laughing. I was like, of course it's real.
Yeah, of course it's real.
Of
That
course
makes
it's
perfect
real.
sense.
Oh, we've done so much feel-good news.
I know, right? I looked at this next story and I was like, oh, we're going to have to ruin this, aren't we?
We've done so much feel-good news. Hey, chat, here's what's up. It's 9:03 a.m. here. It should be 9:03 a.m. wherever you are. That's how time works. We want to make sure it's not broken. Put a little arrow next to your name along with what time it is where you are and whether we should flip the script on this news. Or do we just keep going with the fun news this morning?
Yeah, do we just skip the bad news? Do we just pretend it didn't happen?
We can
now,
do that.
This isn't serious world bad news. There are serious, horrific things happening in the world, and we would never say that those are in any way less important. We are just in no way also qualified to talk about them as a video game show, but there are resources that pop up in chat for those things that you can donate to.
People are putting the time, but they're not answering the question. They're
I know, right?
They're getting half credit.
Yeah.
You're only getting half credit. You put the time, and then you let us know whether we should flip the script. I do see a just rip the Band-Aid.
Yep, there's a lot of just do it.
All right.
All the news, we can take it.
So, on Wednesday, we talked about the fact that Activision Blizzard laid off 190 people, gave them a decent severance package.
And $200 in credit.
For Battle.net.
A little Battle.net gift card.
They did get a year of health insurance, but also
90 days of severance pay.
But also $200 Battle.net gift cards. They were saying this was our live events team. Obviously, we don't have a place for a live events team right now, blah, 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 blah. Hey, I still say, like, maybe find them some busy work to do. Maybe just for the year.
Shift them around.
For the year, just, hey, corporate wants you to find the difference between these two pictures. And just keep paying them because...
You have the money to do it, it would appear.
You just hang on to them. Because you know what? The world's going to reopen in 6 months. And you're going to want live events again. And then you're going to rehire a live events team.
Yep, of probably new people.
And all the onboarding and the costs and everything, it would be cheaper just to let them... Anyway... Amongst this 190-person layoff, Bobby Kotick, Activision Blizzard CEO, and just cool guy, just reputation throughout history for just being a cool fucking guy.
That is before firing 190 people last week.
Just coolest guy. You know, everybody goes...
cool before that.
Everybody goes, Bobby Kotick. Oh, cool guy. Makes a lot of cool decisions, Bobby Kotick. We love the CEO of Activision Blizzard. Took a $200 million bonus this year. Took a $200 million bonus.
Now, it was over a bunch of bonuses throughout the year. He took $200 million in bonuses.
In bonuses throughout 2020. how can you be... I understand these people live in a different world than we do, but how can you be so divorced for this? This has big Chris Nolan, fuck you, put my movie in theaters energy.
It does.
I still did my work. Why don't I get my bonuses? Set an example, clown.
Hey, you probably could have paid some good bonuses to those 190 people and kept them on for the year.
Hey, clown shoes. Fucking get stuck in a well.
He could have paid those people almost $1 million a year to stay on. And I
More
bet
than $1 million. There were only 190 of them.
Oh,
he
that's
got
right.
a $200 million bonus. He could have
Yeah, I
paid
flipped the
them
numbers.
more than $1 million. He could not only could he have kept everybody on, he could have given everybody a raise. He could have increased their health care. He could have hired new people on just so people were getting
7
money.
figures.
Just so people were getting money.
And it's not like he wouldn't have gotten paid. He just wouldn't have gotten $200 million in additional bonuses. One can presume that his salary is nothing to scoff at on its own, and also that he probably has enough money to live the rest of his life with no salary whatsoever. So, you know.
If I had let's start taking zeros off.
Okay.
And tell me when the number isn't impressive to you as a number that you could have for the rest of your life. 200 million.
So impressive.
20 million.
So much money.
2 million.
Oh my God.
$200,000.
Wow.
$20,000 in the
Yeah.
bank. Holy shit.
Right?
That's $2,000. Fuck yeah, that's rent for the month.
Yeah.
$200. I'll get some snacks. That's groceries for the whole month.
$20? Oh my God. Finding $20 on the floor?
I'm a single guy. $200 is almost groceries for the whole month.
Yeah, same. I am also a single guy.
She's also a single guy and a licensed attorney in the state of Virginia.
That's true. Don't forget it.
I've been
And look,
signed out of
passing the bar is
spreadsheet.
very expensive.
Passing the bar is very expensive. Bobby,
Please.
please,
My
Bobby.
wife, she's very sick.
Please, Bobbert.
$2 still worth picking up. Yeah, right? Like, hey.
Yeah, I would bend down and pick up $2.
Yeah. Pay
would-
for my laundry today.
Yeah. Try to spend it. Try to spend it, Bobby. Surely that can't happen.
I couldn't spend $200 million in a year. I couldn't.
I couldn't spend...
I could if I was doing charitable giving and donations, which if I had $200 million, I would unquestionably do. But I could not spend $200 million on myself.
I couldn't... Could you spend... I mean, I could spend $200,000 in a year, but I would feel very wasteful doing it.
Right. Like, could you buy a house? Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
It's wild. Listen, I've been signed out. I've got to do a bunch of things. Just take
Do
take
you
this
need to do
next.
a bunch of things for that?
Well,
Fascinating.
I changed password apps
Got it.
because LastPass. Hey, everybody, if you're a LastPass user and LastPass LastPass basically changed their free account to where you can either use it on all your mobile devices or all your desktop devices, which means if you want your passwords available on mobile, they're not available to you on your computer. So I switched over to Bitwarden. Everybody switch over to Bitwarden. It's
Okay.
very easy to export.
Not spawns.
It's not Spawn. It's just good.
No,
Bitwarden
we would take a sponsorship. by
Bitwarden
anybody.
is open source. They have an easy import from any of the major password management apps. It took me 2 minutes the other day. Bitwarden. It's going to change your life. They have all the add-ons for mobile that you need to integrate into your browser. Bitwarden. Totally free.
Okay. Definitely sounded like an ad read. Look at how good we would be at it if someone sponsored our show.
They do have a save to browse. They have everything that you have in your other one. They've got. Bitwarden.
Look it. We'd be very good at it. Somebody. I'm going to talk about this in the meantime because it makes me giggle. A Texas museum removed a wax figure of Trump because visitors kept punching it.
I love that so much.
I'd punch it if I walked by a wax figure of
Oh,
Trump.
hell yeah.
I might give it a good punch.
I'd give it a thwack.
Yeah.
You think I ain't gonna give that a thwack?
I think that it makes perfect sense that people kept thwacking it. And it also makes sense that they removed it. And I think that that's a very successful collective action. Maybe when there are statues, I am going to say this does not apply to real people, but when there are like statues in places that we don't like, maybe we just start thwacking them all the time.
Just thwack them. What I love about this is everybody, if you keep punching this wax figure, it just distorts. Because people keep punching it and it just gets weirdy. Like,
and considering he was already wildly misshapen as a human, I am hoping that it just became ever stranger. They said that the manager of the parent company of Ripley's Entertainment said when it's a highly political figure, attacks can be a problem. And yet, no problem with the others.
my favorite thing is that this is the Ripley's Museum, the Tussauds Museum in Texas. Mm-hmm. You would not expect this from Texas.
You wouldn't. No. High five. Good job. You did a thing, Texas. You did a good thing.
Hey, Texas?
Mm-hmm.
That's a little cooler than I thought you'd be.
Yeah, right? I mean, look, was the bar low? Absolutely.
Absolutely. Was it Snyder cut low? A little bit.
Yep, definitely. But we're still glad you did it. And if you come across any kind of wax figure of a dictator, punch it. Do it. Punch it. Are we recommending vandalism? Are we gonna get in trouble?
Not in every case. We don't blanket recommend vandalism.
No, but are we recommending a specific form of vandalism, and are we gonna get important for that? I mean, are we gonna get in trouble for that? Is that important?
Now that's interesting to me. Let's unpack psychologically how you think getting in trouble makes you important. What is it about getting in trouble that you think makes you important? That's fascinating to me.
I meant to say, is it important that we clarify?
No, I know what you meant to say, but let's talk about what you
I
said.
misspoke. Hey, Anthony, say Dorito.
Dorito. Now,
Exactly.
But what is it about you that makes you think trouble is important?
Important that we clarify so we don't
No. You don't have to keep telling me what you meant to say. But you like trouble.
You believe that it's
you like trouble. There's something
Freudian slips around
something about trouble will make you important, Saige. What is it?
Shut up. What else?
The Punisher might be losing. Come on, what is that about?
That's mine.
Oh, all right.
Here's yours.
Thank God.
This wants me to allow Bleeding Cool to send web push notifications.
Oh, for sure.
I'm going to say no, bleedingcool.com.
The Punisher might be losing his skull. The Punisher skull, of course, has become something of a problematic symbol as it has been adopted by a lot of right-wing militias. Not the
Very bad cops.
yeah, not the best of the police force.
Which I do not believe exists.
A lot of even the best of the police force. Remember that everything is on a sliding scale, and even the Justice League movie is better comparatively to the original cut.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. A lot of not so great elements of society really do look up to the Punisher and use that skull.
All of the men who have made me the most uncomfortable in my life have been wearing a Punisher tank top.
Yes.
It happens all the time. Or had a Punisher sticker on their car.
Ooh, the Punisher sticker on the car. That's a...
I got borderline stalked by a man who wore a Punisher t-shirt on like every occasion I ever saw him, and I had to tell him to leave me alone while he was on vacation with his wife in Thailand, but that's besides the point.
If you see somebody wearing a Punisher skull, it's gonna be a bad time. So this May, Marvel has Heroes Reborn, which is a parallel reality version of the Marvel Universe, where the Avengers never formed.
Right.
The Avengers never got together. This is sort of like an Ultimates thing. It's going to be running for a little while. And in June, Heroes Return, Squadron Savage, the Punisher shows up for the first time, and the chest plate certainly evokes the skull a little bit, but the skull isn't there. And the thought is that Marvel may be sort of
going, oh, we don't want to be affiliated with that.
oh, no thank you with skull.
Oh, no, thank you. This is definitely an issue that maybe we shouldn't bring into this. Maybe the Punisher had nothing to do with you being a piece of shit.
You can see here that it looks much more like just regular body armor.
Yep.
Yeah, the Punisher is a bad idea character.
It's a bad idea character. It's the idolization of the lone wolf bad boy being entirely misinterpreted as a character, of being like, I too am tough and a sociopath.
Only one person can be justice because the rest of the world is injustice, and only the Punisher sees it.
Right.
And only the Punisher is willing to take the steps necessary to do a justice. This is a bad character. It's a bad take. I've always hated the Punisher.
Same. I do think that if we lived in a society that people were able to see bad characters and acknowledge them as flawed and use that as a study of this is not a good person and not somebody to idolize, that there would be value in these characters. But we don't live in that society. We live in a world where if you create a toxic lone wolf, there are going to be men, quite simply, who look at that and go, yeah, that's kind of like me. I'm that kind of hero.
I'm kind of that guy. If push came to shove, I'd do what needs to be done, and what needs to be done is collect the guns and shoot a man. No,
absolutely not. The Punisher is a terrible character.
Certainly
and terrible
not you. Certainly not you.
The Punisher is a bad fictional man. Why would you want to be a bad real man?
I love that in the Netflix Marvel universe, it was literal. They were like, "Oh, he literally has a chunk of his brain missing that makes him unable to process things correctly."
Right.
He lost a chunk of his brain in the war, and now he's a crazy killer.
And they're like,
"Yes,
I'm kind of like that.
I sort of have a chunk of my brain missing.
I'm kind of a bit of a. I'm kind of like a sociopath.
I could sort of do that. I sort of don't have full brain.
I also don't really have feelings. Hey, talk to a therapist. Don't put a fucking Punisher sticker on your car.
Hey, everyone, every dark hero, talk to a therapist or confront your father. Just confront your father. It's so wild to me that even in these power fantasies, in like the Justice League, I am an all-powerful cyborg. I simply refuse to tell my dad he hurt me.
Yep.
I am an all-powerful ocean man, and I simply refuse to tell my father I am hurt.
Yep.
Instead, I will drink and throw ships.
Dude, Drunk Aquaman was so bad.
Drunkaman was just everywhere in that
pissed
movie.
Me right off.
There's so much Drunkaman with the sad piano music, with the lyrics.
Why was there so much piano music? I know we're gonna get into it. I know we're about to do a full review of this. There was so much weird. There were so many fucking weird music choices.
The lyrics
in this movie.
were just so on the nose.
They were ridiculous. I actually wrote one down. Hold on.
He's the king. There's drunk Aquaman walking into the ocean drunk and mad, and it's like, he's the king. He's the king.
It said, there is a king, he is the king, there is a king, and he is everything.
Oh, the king, and he's
piano
sad
music
and
while he got drunk on a dock.
I'm a drunk man, and I'm sad, and I hate
you
my
have
father.
All of the power of the ocean.
I won't touch my mom's fork. I don't want my mom's fork.
There were so many fucking weird things.
Ending. I want to end on this. We will be talking a lot about the Snyder Cut in our Patreon exclusive this week.
I have notes. We took notes.
We took a lot of notes. But we do want to talk about Zack Snyder had some sequels planned.
Sure.
And it's very obvious if you watch the film, the Snyder Cut, that he had sequels planned, because he literally ends the film and then goes 23 minutes into the sequels he had planned.
The epilogue is a whole nother movie.
It's just a different movie because he's like, let me make this one now.
That was just him being like, well, if I put this in, they're going to have to let me make it.
That movie ended 3 times. Justice League Part 2 and 2A, and then Part 3. He talks a lot about what happens. Bruce and Lois have sexual tension. Lex Luthor makes his own league, which is kind of, that's a thing that happens sometimes. And then like it becomes this whole thing where Superman unites not just the Justice League, but everyone, the Atlanteans, the humans, all the armies of the world, the Green Lantern Corps of space. They all unite around this Christ figure. Did you know Superman's a Christ figure? Did you pick up on Superman's a Christ figure? And everyone is a member of the Justice League as they fight off Darkseid and Apocalypse. It's a decent thing to build towards.
Darkseid is just shiny Thanos.
Now, hold on.
Darkseid looks like shiny Thanos.
Now, hold on.
No spoilers.
I do want to bring this up. I did a couple times when I was watching this go, it is wild that this was supposed to come out before Endgame. This would have been years before Endgame. And shiny Darkseid being a weird PS3 craggy Thanos, we would have thought of Thanos as a little bit of a Darkseid.
I don't know if I would have after watching that. I would have been like, yeah, I don't see it at all.
It's
been the other way around.
It's kind of interesting. Steppenwolf, I will say this, Steppenwolf is shiny and pearlescent and beautiful.
Yes, beautiful. So shiny. Still unsure. We're both uncertain of the materials in which he is made of.
I'm mostly concerned about what Steppenwolf's skin is.
I'm also concerned by the horns thing, because the horns thing did seem like I get that the horns thing are actually part of him, but it was also like partially part of his suit. There's spoilers. I will leave them out. It's like a Brillo pad. That's insane.
You can't have trypophobia and look at Steppenwolf's face.
You can't. It's not good.
But it goes into this sort of like epic. There was a 3-movie Justice League trilogy that was supposed to happen.
Fortunately for me, I watched the Justice League just like Snacky Z would have wanted on my 13-inch laptop screen. I watched the whole 4-hour movie on my 13-inch laptop screen while I did dishes and stuff.
Look,
just like he would have wanted.
As a DC Comics fan, Darkseid owns in the comics, and that's
totally Darkseid is fucking cool in theory. That's nothing.
That's not in. When we talk about these movies, the how interesting or great these characters are in the comics is never a thing we're debating.
No, absolutely not.
Never.
No. A lot of people will be like, but they were so cool in this. No. The only current canon we are discussing is what they have provided us in the movie, because they are not considering the comics, so we can't.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Hawkeye's cool. Yeah, Hawkeye's cool. MCU Hawkeye sucks. Comic book Hawkeye is one of my favorite characters in history. Mm-hmm. But that's not what we're talking about right now.
Absolutely not.
That's not what we're talking about.
There's a Wednesday here. Let's see if we can get a little... Oh.
Hi. Like, The Flash is one of my top 3 favorite superheroes of all time. But that Flash is not in this film.
Not my Flash.
Hashtag not my Flash. Anyway, that's sort of the news for this morning, everybody. You get the news. You get a chonkster of a cat. She used to be a nervous lady, and now she is a confident chonkster.
Yeah.
She's
a brave, bold baby.
She feels confident in her own skin now, and we love it for her. We love to see it happen.
This is her first appearance on It's Too Early.
Oh.
Ghost buds his head in all the time, but this is Wednesday's first.
So there you go. The princess.
I don't think we'll be getting those other 2 Justice League films, Anthony. I know we're getting reviews.
It's interesting to see, because people really do love this Snyder cut. It's doing exceedingly well for HBO Max, to the point where they had like 127 capacity outages yesterday because so many people were trying to watch this film.
Issues.
He might get another movie. I know that there's Warner Brothers sort of officially moved on, but think about this. Mm-hmm. We have a new DC movie canon in the theaters. Mm-hmm. We have our CW TV canon. Mm-hmm. does Zack Snyder get the HBO Max canon?
No.
Does Snacky Zacky get his own little universe to play in?
Sith in Training in the live studio audience said, do you think that a person who hasn't read the comics and doesn't know what the characters should be like would actually enjoy the Snyder Cut? No, I don't. But that's also, I mean, obviously everything is a matter of opinion. No, I do not think so. I think that the characters were not compelling. I don't think that they were interesting. Again, I'm a very easygoing superhero movie watcher. I like most of them.
I'm fine with adaptations switching things up with the source material.
Absolutely, 100%.
As long as it's compelling and the internal logic is there. But there's something about like there's a way that Zack Snyder believes that tone and character works, and there's a way that he believes that story points work. And
I think it's a bad movie.
it's just not. I think if you don't care about the characters and you haven't watched any of the other movies and you go in, you'll watch it and you'll be like, that's a pretty fine superhero movie.
See, I think that
it's not good, but it's fine.
I think if you have no investment in the characters, I don't even think I could finish it because I think it's a bad movie. Mm-hmm. That's my problem. Is it's such a bad movie and there's such non-compelling characters that like.
For 4 hours, it's going to be a tough sell.
Yeah. I'm only going to finish it because I am already invested in Wonder Woman and such, you know?
Anything for 4 hours is a tough sell. Now, remember, Death and Saints, we're not talking about comics.
Right.
This question is specifically, if I don't know the characters of the comics, how will I feel about this?
Right, but I agree. I do.
He does. He does not. I think
does not.
What's fascinating is I think this really sort of proves for me a theory that I've always had about Zack Snyder that I've talked about on the show, which is Zack Snyder makes a movie and then he figures out what that movie is actually about when he's making the trailer.
Yeah.
So when the movie's done and he's cutting the trailer together, he crystallizes and understands the themes in his head. I think with this movie, he was able to go back after the fact and be like, oh, I sort of understand what this movie is now, and I can make it cohesive. At some points it's very fun to it's got very fun visual things. He's a very visual director, and he's always had his own very visual style. He loves a set piece. He loves an action scene.
He loves the colors gold and brown.
He loves a gold and a brown. And some of these action scenes were very good. There's an early action sequence involving the Amazons that is amazing. I think it's one of the best. It's maybe the best thing involving the Amazons put to film.
No. The Wonder Woman beach Amazon scene was better.
Yeah?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
I think there was some great action because there's some incredibly, incredibly talented women playing those roles. But I still think Wonder Woman was a better scene. The first Amazon battle on the beach is a better Amazon scene to me.
That's fair. That's fair. They're both good.
That was an incredibly choreographed, detailed, massive battle. There were so many moving parts, and the fight choreography was absolutely.
There was a lot more practical stuff going on in that, and that's the other thing is he definitely does not shy away from being like, if this is a big battle scene, it's okay if there's not a lot of practical.
CG.
Yeah.
Yeah, all CG.
Saige. But yeah, we're gonna talk much more about this in our patron clip for this week. So if that sounds interesting to you, please consider supporting us on Patreon. It's only $5 a month, and it supports all of the shows that are on this network, not just us.
Helps us keep the lights on the channel.
We're sort of a Justice League ourselves.
We are like a Justice League.
We're a bit of a Justice League.
We have content most days on this channel. This show is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific. And if you missed the show, you didn't get up early enough, the whole show goes up on YouTube after the fact, so you can always catch it there. Today is Friday. Tonight you can find me and Anthony on our D&D 5e live play, Failed Save. Even if you've never played D&D in your life, you don't have to know any of it. It is just improv comedy that happened to have dice, and it's a very good time. I enjoy it very, very much. And there's lots of stuff. We have more D&D over the weekend. We have other shows here and a bunch of talented creators that work very hard to make this channel possible. So thank you to everybody who supports us, sweet beans.
Thank you for everybody who followed, subscribed, or gave bits today. Grumpy Steen, Spawn Blaze, RN Genius, Harry Horror Show. What's up, Harry? Harry's also one of the hosts of One Time on the Internet here on the channel.
And I was on his channel last night.
Aerolith, Harry with the resubscribe, Bucket Rider. I did it. Zarutan, I'm so sorry. 54 Aqua Snakes with the bits saying with the corgi. Wilbo Baggins, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Grumpy Steen, Stolen Tag with the resub. Ethan Helhowski with the host. Blue Pirate with the host. Cozen Effect. Oz Chunk, thank you all so much. Remember, we do love when you donate. We do love when you give bits. We do love when you sub. But we understand that, hey, that's money. And we're not all Bobby Kotick. So one of the things, just by being here and watching, you're supporting us so much. But also, if you make clips, if you share, if you tweet about the show, if you tell a friend, that is extremely helpful. And you can join our Discord.
Yeah, that's cool. It's fun there. Roleplay servers, hangouts. You can suggest stories. You can post clips you like. Blakeheart, thank you for the sub. We appreciate you. And Holly Weird for the follow. Coming in at the end there. Hot.
Coming in.
Wednesday thanks you as well. Wednesday just to be.
Coming in.
Stay in for
Hot.
It's like when you make Siri laugh and she goes.
That's a good way to end, I think.
It's going to be a weird clip.
That's going to be a weird clip. Hey, thanks so much, the BBs, you little pickles. We appreciate you very much. Thank you, Chuck Heroes. We will see you again on Monday. Until then, we love you.
We love you. Good night, friends. Night.
Yeah, good.